Good morning, everyone. So it's Friday morning, and we've had a long week of either working really hard, doing all the exercises, engaging, and you're tired potentially, or you've basically been a long week and you haven't done as much, and you're maybe feeling a little bit stiff and sore, or a variation between the two. So what I want to take you through today for the workout is I want to take you through its engagement, a feel good. I want to move again after doing this as opposed to feeling stiff, sore, tired. So throughout my career, I really found it super beneficial to do these types of engagement exercises. And even now as a coach, or more especially now as I'm older, as I'm coaching, I still feel the same way, because without doing these types of engagement exercises and really making sure that my body is ready to go, when I play squash, when I coach, when I move, I'm maybe using the wrong muscles, and then they get stiff and sore, or they're overused and they start to break down and hurt. So this is like from 30 years of squash experience, how I re-engage, strengthen, wake up the muscles that you need for squash, and you generally should use, but maybe don't use, or you overuse sometimes, and you're being kind to them. All right, so the first thing, just as you're warming up, I like to feel like, just how am I feeling? I've done this before, so where are my balance points, where am I hurting? And I think a little bit of squash squats. So let's get into a little light squash squat, a little bit of movements, a little bit of rotations. And as you're doing this, just start to think, where in my body, where am I feeling this? Where am I feeling this? Okay, so my points are my left hip can be a little bit sore sometimes. I've got to make sure I engage my glutes. So I'm coming down here. As I turn to my left, my back's tight here. Okay, got it. If I change sides again and do this, where is it? Okay, the back left leg down through my knee. That rotation's okay. That one's a little bit easier, but I feel in my hip when I open up. Okay, so now I know roughly where I need to think I really need to be careful with, and I also need to make sure that I'm engaging as much as I possibly can. All right, so first thing, let's just do some nice and simple light squats. Okay, so I like to keep my hands up. You can use something if you want. Put a very light weight here, which I will use, or I can use a water bottle as well. Whatever you want to use. Take advantage of the water bottle while I can. Okay, so or put your hands up. Let's do nice squats. Just feel that. And then let's get the glutes engaged. Let's do 10 of these. Nice and slowly. Try and keep your back as straight as possible. Chest pointing towards, I'm pointing it towards the screen. If you're using a mirror or the screen here, obviously, you just point it straight towards the screen. With the knees just to come slightly in front of your heels, over your toes. Nice, and push up. And use those glutes as much as possible. 6, 7, 8. Now try and make sure sometimes this can happen, your knees can come in or you can move. Let's try and keep them exactly where they are. Do not let them move, okay? Glutes. Push them out, hold it, push up. Great. So even after doing just those 10 simple squats, I feel better. I feel like I've now started to engage and move. Let's go into a very light squat. So we're not going all the way down to a full one. We're just going into a light squat here, okay? Same thing. Let's just keep your arms up. Let's do little pulses. So you're really pushing up. So you're pushing up from here and making sure you're balanced. Let's do 10 of these as well. 5. So again, so much of this is glutes. You'll naturally use your legs for balance and stability and power, but the glutes, let's get those glutes engaged. 9, 10. Okay, great. Change sides. This one already is less comfortable for me. It's not my natural side to do it, so I have to focus a lot more. I don't know if you can even see this, but I'm so much more unstable. So I've really got to control this. I've got to think about how to keep Everything engaged. Everything working. Like my left glute just doesn't want to work. I'm having to force it to. 9, one more. 10. Okay, great. Shake it up a little bit. Oh, okay. Now, if you do have a weight, let's use that now. Now, what I want to do different types of lower squats. Now, the first one I want to do is I want to put my feet a little bit closer together. I think last time you saw that I was going out wide. This time I'm going to put my feet a little bit closer together, toes pointing towards the screen. Let's keep the chest nice and high, head high. Hold on to this, and then go as far as you can. Now lock those knees out at the end. Don't push them too hard, but you just make sure at the end you get them locked, okay? And then start again. Don't hyperextend. Just make sure you do the full range of motion. And again, make sure those glutes are working. Again, I can feel my left glute not wanting to work. I'm having to use it to stabilize. 5. And this is all about control. It's not about doing it fast. It's not about overextending the range. It's about making sure that you are in complete control of your muscles at all times. 9, 10. Good. So what I think is really good about that one is, as you can tell, I'm breathing kind of heavily. And it's very easy to get your heart rate up doing these sorts of exercises if you are fully engaging all your muscles at the same time. So when I'm holding this, I'm not just holding it here. I'm actively holding, you can see that, so I can do this and just hold it, or I'm actively engaging to keep my head up, shoulders back, and this up in here. So it's very different from just holding it. So make sure that you're trying to do that the whole time. Okay, let's go wider again. So same one, let's go wider. And then this time I want to engage your glutes. Make sure you keep those knees from wobbling in at any time. Okay, you got to keep them strong. So down. Let's go all the way down this time. That's all the way down for me, by the way. You guys might be different. 2. Again, hold on to whatever you're holding on to. Keep the chest up. Engage your upper body as well. Okay, I found myself wobble a little bit there with left and right, so I've got to keep it straight. Oh, not easy. 6, 7, 3 to go. 2 to go. Last one. Whoa. Okay. I hope you're feeling it, because I certainly am. And if you're not, let's think about how, again, you can engage more muscles. You can really be thinking about everything moving and everything working at the same time, because it is hard. Quick drink of water if you have any. Right, we're going to go into some split squats now. So I want to get the upper body engaged a little bit as well here. So I'm going to go a little bit lower. Okay, so I've got a very light weight in my hand. Now I'm going to try and keep my bottom half as far down as possible. I'm going to keep this squat. Even in itself, that's hard. I'm lifting from my torso up and straight, and I'm trying to stay, if you saw me side on, I'd be as straight as possible, okay? And I'm just going to lift up. And try and keep my balance. Now I have a very tight back through the middle, and therefore I lack strength sometimes there. So what I'm trying to do is get this arm straight as possible. It's very hard for me to do, whilst keeping my bottom engaged. Now if you're as a squash player, where this would be helpful obviously is in a split squat and having to do different types of hits from this angle. You probably wouldn't be volleying like this, but great to practice the strength and stability here, whilst also going up. You can do all sorts of things. We can lift to put it in the ground as well and lift it up, which we'll do in a bit as well. I like this one because it's now starting to engage my upper body and get it moving and opening up. 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. Straight into the other side. Again, as you can see, when I try and go into my left side, it's so much harder. Which is ironic because when I'm a left-handed squash player, so when I lunge with my left leg all the time. But it's so less stable than my right. All right, go. 10. 1. So for me, this side is so much easier. I can straighten that arm up. So my back and my arm, so much easier. My legs and my lower half, so much harder. So again, try and notice these things because this will be super helpful for you to adapt your workouts and your training to understand what you need to do to help yourself. Because we're all different, and this is a great exercises to do, but what you need to do is understand and adapt for the areas that you find harder so you can strengthen them, engage them, look after them, and make sure you're fit for purpose. 8, 9, 10. Alrighty. Hope everyone feels the burn in their quads right now, because I certainly do. Okay, we're going to move on to some deadlifts. And this was something that helped me tremendously with my recovery from my knee surgery last year. And I realized that I hadn't done enough of these specific types of exercises to help protect the areas around my knees. I used to do it a lot when I was playing, and what it would do is it would basically mean that it doesn't matter how hard I was working, how hard a match was, how hard the floors were, the muscles around my joints were really helping me protect my body. And what happened was over years, I'd done less and less of these exercises, and it basically meant that the muscles surrounding my knees, especially here, weren't engaged and weren't working, so the knee was unstable. So when I went into a deep stretch, it didn't help. So from then, since I've had my operation, I've been doing a lot of these, and I just feel, again, that it's an amazing way to just on a regular basis keep on top of your body and what it needs to do, and basically protect yourself from the rigors of playing squash, or from me for coaching squash. So we're going to do a deadlift. Pick up anything you have nice and light, doesn't have to be heavy. All right. So we're going to start on my right leg. So it's nice and straight to start with, other leg's bent. And we're just going to go down. So we're going to push that, extend the left leg, my left leg. I'm going to bend this one, and I'm going to reach forward and out, trying to straighten myself out. I'm going to do this very slowly. And then you change hands, just to get a bit of balance in there. Find your balance. And then up. Okay. We'll go again, so then we change around. Find the balance again. And then up. So you can see how slowly I was going there. What I really want to make sure I'm doing is, again, every stage of the movement I have control over, and I'm engaged, and I'm making the muscles work. If I go through parts of it by pushing up quickly, that's more power, but it's also, you might not have control through the middle range of the muscle movement, and there's a reason for that. There's areas that are weak, so why I like to do this and so slowly is I want to make sure that every part of that movement is controlled, and therefore the muscles are working correctly. So it makes it much harder, but it's also way more beneficial, in my opinion, in terms of especially understanding your body and knowing where you might need to work on to help. Right, so back to this one again. So I'm going to do 3 of these in total. Let's do them slowly. If you want to keep going and you're doing them a little bit quicker, do a few more, but make sure you use full control to do it. Sorry for the facial expressions. It hurts in a good way. One more. Ah. So I also know as well, like that last one, imbalanced and then coming up, it was very tired and wobbly. So I know to take a rest and to change legs because I don't want to push it again when the muscle's fatigue and it's not actually doing it very well. For me, it's all this session is all about quality. Okay, change legs. Now again, if you want to move a little bit quicker, please do more. But again, it's all about control. And if you have any music, put the music on so you can listen to it. I know it's very quiet on this end. Nice crack on my hip. One. Halfway there. Okay, one more. Okay, concentrate. Let's try and make this one as good as you possibly can. Let's not let the knee wobble. Let's engage through the foot into the floor. Let's engage your glutes. Let's really concentrate. Do not let this one, don't let yourself get imbalanced. Couldn't even get 3 inches of the way. Okay. Oh. So I think notice as well where you're feeling that. Like I feel this all around here. You know, I have had very weak ankles, and the ligaments have been very loose in my whole life. And I've had to do a lot of work to keep them strong and stable. So again, it shows you on those sorts of ones, I'm using so many of these to keep my legs stable. So that's where I feel it mostly on my left, and then on my hip as well. So it's like top and bottom. The bit in between seems to be strong enough, but those are the areas I really find hard. So think about it for yourself as well. Where do you feel less stable? Where do you feel like it's actually causing you some problems? Because you know what happens here, it's going to be happening on the squash court. So just make sure you are understanding that again. So the whole purpose of this type of training, and also while you can't get back on the squash court and we're doing this work, for me, the purpose of this training is to really try and learn more about yourself, learn areas that you're good at and you're strong, and learn also areas that you need to work on, whether it be the analysis, the physical exercising, the yoga, so the stretching and the flexibility. So just think about all these different things and where within those are your problem points and sticking points. Where are you also really good, and how does that affect both of them? How does it affect your squash? Because where you're really good physically, with flexibility and also mentally and tactically with your squash, you'll tend to play that way, right? So that'll be your game. And there's nothing wrong with that. You should play to your strengths, obviously, but then you also need to know where you need to get better and understand those areas and start to fix them across the board. Not just on the court. You can't just all of a sudden go, I'm going to go and play better and I'm going to do this. Well, physically, you might not be able to. You know, as you go in for a lunge, this leg might collapse, and then how can you hit the shot you want to hit? But if you know that now, because from the work you've done, you can do this, and then you can hit any shot you want, right? So let's do that. Let's just try and get into a few different positions as if you're going to hit a shot and see how you feel after doing just those exercises. So let's go to the front. I'm going to go front left, so towards the camera. And I'm going to do exactly what I just did there. I'm going to go left leg and hold. Ooh, bit unstable. Okay, so let's do it again. Hold. Nope. Hold. So my weight, I'm literally falling backwards like this, right? So what am I doing? I'm going to think about what I'm doing. So let's go in and hold again. So left leg forward. Hold. Better. For me anyway. All right? So I made some adjustments and I'm holding it. Let's hold it. And then out. Okay, so we're going to do this again. I'm going to do like 10 of these. And we're going to do it for 3-second holds, okay? So you can see my upper body's engaged again as well, right? So I'm ready to hit. If you really want to, or make it harder, you can use a weight. I'm not going to, it's hard enough. Good. That's halfway there. 6. As you come back, you can move your feet. I like to do this a little bit, so I'm a little more active and then stable, like squash. Active, stable. 9, active, stable. Good. Okay, let's change legs. So that was my left leg into the front leg. This is going to be the right leg into the front left. Okay, good. Good. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that was much more comfortable for me, as I've talked about this whole time. Left leg landing, bit unstable, hard. Have to work really hard to keep it going. Right leg lands much easier. Okay? Let's go across to the other side. So we're going to go left leg, front right. And hold. Moving, then stable. Hold it for 3. 1, 2, 3. Again, look at my way. I'm hitting a backhand here. I'm not just going in and just doing whatever. I'm not going in and just doing this. Upper body's engaged as well, right? My body's in, boom. What am I going to do? Drop. You can start doing that. Start playing the shot. Hold for 3, and then hit your shot. It's good. 7, 8, 1 more, 2 more. So with this as well, I want you to think about where your foot's landing. You can't really see my foot, but one of the things that I always feel with players when they go into I'll do it back here. So if I'm coming in to hit a shot in the front, the foot turns this way. One thing I'm always making sure is my foot is going the same way as my lunge. Okay, and it's the same for the squash. If you do this and turn your foot this way, this hip's blocking. I can't hit cross court, right? It's so hard. So make sure that foot, whichever foot it is going forward. Same on this side, right? It's there and there. You're not turning it back. I used to do that when I was younger, and it made it very difficult to do anything but hit straight drop, hit straight drive, or just kind of flicky across court. I couldn't actually hit across court because I was so convoluted and turned around. It made it difficult. So point your feet where you're heading towards. Okay, so we still got this side to go. Right leg, right side. Again, make sure you get that rotation on the way in. Woo! Rotation. Hold for longer, Peter. Better. Seven. 8. Nope, missed it. 9. I would also highly encourage you, like you saw there, I missed one and I had fell over a little bit, so went back and did it again. Don't just treat the ones that you miss as an extra rep. You didn't do it. Don't count it. Go back, do it again. Make sure you finish it off. It's almost like saying like, oh, I lost a point, doesn't matter. Well, it might. Or I hit a 10. I'm going to hit another one, or it doesn't really matter. It does. So when you miss one, go back, do it again, and do it better. And understand what you did wrong the first time and how you can improve it so you can be stable and make it work properly. Otherwise, you're just randomly doing some exercise. Okay, just going to finish. This has been very lower body based, but again, it's all been about trying to engage and strengthen and activate all the muscles that we'd use when we're moving around the squash court. So yes, it's been lower body based, but it's really important for squash. You don't see many squash players with huge upper bodies and lower and slight lower bodies. It's much more the other way around, and there's a reason. Okay, we're going to do a little bit harder one here. We'll do 2 different types of these. First one's going to be more speed, and then the second one is going to be more power. And we're going to finish with a power one, okay? It's the last thing you're going to do. So we're going to go into a squat. We're just going to go up, down. Okay, so you land your feet together, and down. So this is right leg forward, together, left leg forward. Now try and keep your weight back at all times. Don't come forward, don't fall over. Again, I'm trying to keep my arms, my shoulders engaged, my chest up. Together, down. Together, down. Together, down. Together, down. Together, down. Do that for another 15 seconds. Come on, control it. Make sure you're looking after your body. It doesn't fall over like I'm starting to get wobbly on that left side. I'm getting tired. Push through those legs. Lift from the glutes. 2 more. So right, as you saw halfway through there, my left side started to struggle. But then I started thinking about making sure my glutes were engaged and I was pumping up and through, and it made a big difference on my control. So again, knowing where you struggle, knowing where you need to be thinking about to re-engage and keep working on it and thinking about it makes a hell of a difference. Woo! Okay, we're going to do one more, and then this is it. After this, I'd recommend You do some good rolling on your quads, IT bands, your hips. Just make sure on your hamstrings and your legs, just make sure you roll them out and make sure you get any of that lactic acid out, because you've really done a heavy leg workout today, more than you probably think you have, or you certainly should have. That's what it should feel like. I'm certainly going to go and do that. Okay, this one, there's no middle step, okay? So we're going to go literally straight from one split squat to the other, okay? Now I want control. So it's power, power, but then landing control. And then hold it for 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. 2 more. 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. Done. Woo! Okay. So that's a simple workout that I like to do fairly regularly. I add in different things. So if I had a cable machine, I could do a little more rotations with split squats. So I'd be turning. You can do that yourself, and we'll do that next week as well, with weights and with different light objects. So getting some nice twists and rotations whilst being in the split squat, which, as you can imagine, for squash is a perfect way to use your body. But I think if you can think about what worked there, what was hard, and then, I mean, even now once we finish, if you're feeling like it wasn't that hard for you, or there are areas that you really need to work on, go back and do them again. You know, let's do some extra reps on the areas that you feel that you struggle with, the areas that you know that affect your game, because you notice that now in when you play. So if you feel a little bit weak on going in front, my left leg into the front, I'll be like, oh yeah, because when I go in the front left corner, I struggle to get out of it sometimes. So I'm either lacking power, there's a little bit of balance, muscle imbalance, whatever it is. So I'm going to keep practicing that one in particular. I'm going to do extra reps of that one. So if there is anything there that you feel that would benefit from doing again, go do it again. Don't overdo it. I want to make sure that everything is done super high quality. We're doing other exercises and workouts that are much harder in terms of, like, you got a minute, you got to get going, you got to do it, you got to do it, you got to do it. And that's also very beneficial. But this one's much more about making sure you do it correctly. So if you are going to practice something again, let's do it as well as you can. But then if your muscles do get too fatigued, or you can't actually hold the lunge, or you can't go into the deadlift or whatever else, then stop. There's no point in doing it if your muscles can't handle it. Awesome. I hope you enjoyed it. I certainly did. I've got a nice little sweat on, and I feel much better. I feel physically much better and more able, and I'm ready to go. So I'd love to coach now. Unfortunately, we can't get on any courts right now, but hopefully it'll only be a few weeks and we'll all be back together again. So thanks for joining me, and good luck.